Today what we're doing is we're continuing every single thing that we did yesterday in class. However, I'm going to go faster than what we did yesterday because yesterday we were just learning it, correct? So I need you to have out your regression steps, and I need you to have out yesterday's example and also last night's homework. Last night's homework, we're going to do a comparison with it with tonight's homework, okay? At the end of this week, we're going to hand in a packet of worksheets. Yesterday we had 2-5 worksheet 1, tonight's worksheet 2, Wednesday worksheet 3. On Thursday we're going to finish all worksheets in class, and if we have time, then we're going to have the 2-2. Okay? If we don't have time, I'm going to scrap it and we'll do it next week. Alright? Any questions over what I just said? But at the end of this week, you're going to keep all of them, you're going to staple them together and get them in one packet at one time. We all good? Okay. Now, yesterday we talked about this right here where we have our lovely little example of our milk, our gallon of milk. True? Now, what we're doing today is everybody log in. Okay. Names. There. Okay, that makes me happy. Now, I want to make sure everybody has a ghost current. What do I mean whenever I say a ghost current? What I want you to do is go to your home page. Everybody's already there, and I want you to hit 4. If you have an active document, as soon as you hit the number 4, it's going to pop it open. Okay? When you hit 4, okay, the document's not going to open up. Like Alan's right here has nothing on it. It's a ghost 4. Do we all see his as a ghost 4? You see this? It looks like it's barely lit, like an unlit me on the Wii, okay? Now, if I look at Breeze, Breeze immediately opened up a document. Now, what I want you guys to do is hit Control W. Control W for everybody who has something open. And no, you do not want to save the changes. That'll take you back to your home screen. Okay? And then you'll be good to go. Now, what this did is we basically got rid of all of your lovely little documents that were open. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to start fresh with a new document. What we're going to do is we're going to re-enter all the information we entered in yesterday. So what's the first thing we had to do when we did our problem for yesterday? A new document, and what's our goal? What do we have to do? We had to enter in data, correct? So immediately what we're going to do is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to have a new document. My new document is going to be lists and spreadsheets. Why is it lists and spreadsheets? Because I'm entering data. And the first part of my data was going to be year 1998. What did we let 1998 be? 8. But before we do that, what do I have to label my columns as? Year is my column A, so I'm going to type in here year and hit enter. Column B, what am I going to label that as? Cost. And hit enter. Okay? Now, I'm going to come over here to row 1, column A, and I'm going to start entering in my data. That was 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and year 18. How did I get up to the top of my data on yesterday? Control 7. So hit Control 7, and I'm back to the top of my data. Now what? Come over to cost. Row 1, column B. And how much did a gallon of milk cost in 1998? $2.65. And 2000? 2.89. 2012?
2? No, it's actually 2000.
Oh yeah, 2000, sorry. 2. What was it?
3.0.
3, and then 14 would be 3.01. 3.2. 20? $3.20. And then $3.77. Okay, so now we have all of our data in. What did we always check to make sure whenever we're done with this stuff? Did we enter it in right? Is there anything down there that shouldn't be? All that jazz. We know we've entered it in okay. I've checked. I'm at the top of my data and I've checked. So now what do I need to do? What's my goal? I've entered my data, now what's my goal? To graph it. So how do I graph the scatter plot? Control Doc. Nope. Data and statistics, and then here's my Velcro ping pong balls, right? So what do? I rearrange them. So down here at the middle, I'm going to click, and that's going to be my year. Over here on the side, it's going to be my cost. And there it goes. We all see that, yes or no? Okay, now yesterday we left off talking about finding trend lines, right? Now a trend line comes by doing what? A trend line comes by finding 2 points that we think best describe those points. In order for us to do that, what did we have to do yesterday? We added a movable line. So how do I add a movable line on my nice little regression steps? They're on there. Read them, get out your steps, come on. How do I add a movable line? Menu, analyze, and add movable line. Now at this point, what do I need to do? I need to get my curved arrows. So I click on this until I get my curved arrows, and then I start moving it. And I need to move it on both ends until I get it to be exactly where I want it. With me? Now, why did I do this? When in doubt, what can we always do? Just hit escape on that, because you just have a couple things. There you go. Okay? Tabitha, are you okay? Control Doc. Data and statistics. And then come down here and click on the bottom and make that your year. And on the other side, make it the cost. Okay, now you need to add a movable line by the menu, analyze, and add a movable line. Now, everybody's looks a little bit different. Look at Bree's and look at Alan's. Do you see how different they are? I mean, they are seriously different. You can't get yours to move? Okay, how do you feel about that? I agree. I can tell. Okay. I want you to take your mouse and go to the very end of the line up here. And click, there you go. Now click on it and drag it. See how you got the curved arrows? Control click. Or hold it down. There you go. Now you got your hand, now you can move it. Okay. Now even if I'm looking at these, she's moving hers again. The Allen's is way different than, let's say, even Melissa's. Okay? You look so guilty.
I forgot 16.
Forgot the point 16. Yeah. Okay, did everybody just hear her? She forgot 16. She's missing a ball up there. So how can she fix this? That's hilarious. Okay, first of all. So how can we fix this? We can fix this by her going back to 1.1. Come all the way down here, and your data. Where this 18, that should be a 16. Click on it, turn it to 16. Enter. Now make it 18 there, and enter. Now go back, click on the 1.2 up here.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Well.
Hers go up there, though. Like hers go up by 23, and hers goes up by.
Yeah, I was just trying to get that formula out of it. I've been trying.
have all of them, and if you want to play around with yours more, again, you can, because your data was messed up. Okay? Now, if I go back here, okay, now if I'm looking at these, I can now see that everybody's lines are somewhat similar, and everybody has an idea of what they want to do. Now, with that said, everybody has different lines, yes. Now, what you need to do is you need to figure out what 2 points you would use most to make a trend line. So the 2 points that I would use if I'm doing mine, I would probably use the 8 and the 12. Because I'm touching the 8 the most, and I'm touching the majority of the 12 there. Do we see that? I would. Does that mean Alan's going to do that? Maybe not. Does that mean Miranda's going to choose those 2 points? No. The whole point is eventually you have to come up with an equation of the line using mx plus b and those 2 points. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? Okay. Well, that's great, because now we have our new whole line. Now, how do I find my actual regression model? Now, turn your paper over for your steps. Turn your paper over for your steps. Now, your steps say, how do I get a regression model in data and statistics? So what's it say to do? Menu, then what? Menu, analyze, regression,
And show linear.
show linear, mx plus b. Now look, my movable line had too steep of a slope. My regression model has a smaller slope, and I was off a little bit. Now let's look at everybody else's here. Do you see, like on Skylar's right here? You can definitely tell that her slope was way too steep. You can see on Melissa's, not a regression model yet. Alan's, his slope was it wasn't steep enough, right? Do we see that? And Bree's, her slope was not steep enough either. And you can go down the line on each and every one of these and you can see what's happening here. Does that make sense, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay?
Wait, how does that pick your slope?
It actually does all of it for you.
Like, shouldn't it line up with the slope that we, this one right here?
Should your trend line be exactly the same line as what your regression model is? Is that what you're asking? No. Your trend line takes into account 2 points. Your regression model takes into account all of the points. Does that make sense? Okay. So now, I have this. Now that's a beautiful regression model. It absolutely is. But does it tell me if I have a positive, strong, or weak correlation? It tells me I have positive correlation, correct? I can tell that because it's going uphill. Yes? But does it tell me if I have a weak or a strong correlation? No. How do I get my weak or strong correlation? By finding my R value. So go to the next header on your steps, and it says to find the linear regression and your R value. So how do I find my R value? Insert a new page. So Control Doc. And what am I inserting? A calculator page. And what do I want to do once I'm on my calculator page? Click on Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations. And this is exactly the same menu that you had in the previous page. So what do I want? Linear regression, mx plus b. However, then you get this lovely little data box that pops up. And it's asking you, what do you want your x list to represent? So I need to find out all my options. So click on this arrow, and it drops down a lovely little drop box. And what do I want it to be? Do I want my x to be my cost or my year? Everything else, ignore. Do I want it to be cost or year? I want my x's to be my years. And click on the y list drop box. Do I want that to be cost or year? I want that to be my cost. Now, do you see right here where it says save reg equation? That's save your regression equation where? Now, it will always save it in the first available function. My first available function that I have is F1. If you would have a trend line in F1, it would save your regression equation and trend in your F2 function. Do we all understand that? So it's going to save it in the first available spot you can. After you've done your X and your Y and you've saved your regression, click OK. And then it's going to give you this regression jump. Okay? Why is this important? Well, it's important because, look, they give me an M. What is M? 0.093. Do we know that from somewhere? Look on page 1.2, do control left arrow. control left arrow says that my slope is 0.093429. Does that look familiar? Yes, it's what they showed me on 1.3. My b value on 1.3 is going to be 1.872. If I come back to page 1.2, what was my b value? 1.8721. Do we see that? Now, what is important on this page? What am I wanting you to get out of here? The R value. And what is my R value here? My R value is 0.919602. That R value tells me what type of correlation my function has. It tells me if it's positive or if it is negative, if it's strong or weak. Now, what is a strong correlation according to your notes that I gave you yesterday? Strong correlation from yesterday's notes were it's going to touch more than as many points as it possibly can. Okay, but the numbers that I gave you yesterday was going to be about 0.98 or above, right? What would be a really bad model? Something probably below 9 would be weak. So this is 0.919. It's not really strong at all, but it's not real weak either. Okay? So this is just a regular correlation. It's neither strong nor weak. Do we understand that? Okay? Now, let's say I wanted to find my cost of my lovely little milk in all my other years. Okay? Now, according to my cost, actually over here, make sure. In 1998, that represented T, which is going to be year 8, and that cost it was $2.65 a gallon. Yes? And then in 2000, I added 2 units to that to give me 10, right? And that was going to be how much a gallon? $2.89. And then in 2002, I added 2 more to that. That gets me 12, and that was going to be a cost of $3 per gallon. 2004, I'm adding 2 more units to that to give me year 14 to give me $3.01. 2006, I'm going to add 2 more to that to give me 16, and my cost was $3.20. And then 2008, I add 2 more to it to give me 18, and my cost went up to $3.77 a gallon. Right, a gallon of milk. Now my question to you is I want to do a future prediction. I want to know how much it's going to be in 2012. Well, how many years are there between 2008 and 2012? 4 years. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 4 to this. So 18 plus 4 gives me 22. So how do I predict how much milk is right now to see if my model is accurate? What do I do? What's it say for future predictions? On your steps, what's it say? Use your regression function that you stored it in. Where did we store our regression function? We stored it in F1 or F2? We stored it in F1. So what we need to do over here is we need to actually do F1 at 22. So we're going to go to our calculator page here, and we're going to type in F. Look at what color my F is. It's light black. 1, and then as soon as I type the 1, what happened to it? It got bolded, didn't it? It's bolded because it's referring to a function already in there. Parenthesis, and then I'm going to type in 22 and hit enter. How much does it cost a gallon of milk right now, according to this model? $3.93, right? $3.93. So if I come over here, this is going to be $3.93. Does that sound accurate? It is pretty good. I mean, it might be a little bit steep right now, okay? But average, a gallon of milk today is probably about $3.50 to $3.89. You can get it cheaper for like $2.89 if you watch, okay? But it's usually in the $3 range, okay? Now, you can continue to do more future predictions if you want to. Okay, for example, if I wanted to know what it's going to be in, let's say, 2042. Well, how many years are there between 2012 and 2042? 30 years. So I'm going to add 30 to this. So if I add 30 to this, that's going to give me 52. So I'm going to do F1 at 52. So how much is it going to cost in year 2042? Well, what did I say that was? F1 at 52.
$6.73.
Does that seem reasonable? That's one expensive gallon of milk, and I really hope the next 30 years that it really does not rise that much. But really, is it rising that much compared to when it was right now? I mean, it's rising because it's not drastic, right?
I won't have no.
My slope is 0.093, which means that's my ratio that this thing is changing. Do we understand that? Okay, that's all I have for you today, which is future predictions and all that. Now let's actually compare last night's homework to tonight's homework. So keep last night's out, keep your steps out, and we're going to start tonight's homework together. You guys have 2 problems. Homework tonight. Okay? You cannot do it at home without a calculator. So, what does this mean? We have lots of time left. So we're going to do the parts that you have to do here at school right now. The parts that you can do at home, you're going to do later on at home. Do we understand that, yes or no? Okay, now tonight's worksheet, I give you data, and more importantly, this is actually the problem that we're on right now. The first one is problem number 1 off of last night's worksheet. Number 2 on this worksheet is problem number 4 off of last night's worksheet. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to say, how did your answers compare last night without an R value to tonight's homework with an R value? Does that make sense? Okay? So, step 1, are y'all paying attention? The things that you're going to do at home. You are going to do your scatter plot at home by hand. And you are also going to do your trend line at home by hand. And you are also going to answer the explanation problem at home. Do we understand this? Everything else must be done in class today or finished up tomorrow. Are we clear? So, we need to get a new document started. We are going to hit Control W because we are done with this example from yesterday. So hit Control W. Do you want to save this document? No, you do not. So now you're back at your home screen. Now we need to start this process all over again. So what do I need to do? New document. What do I want? List and spreadsheets. What do I label column A? Well, what am I giving you? Am I giving you a story problem this time? No, what am I giving you? Ordered pairs, right? And in an ordered pair, what's the first coordinate always called? X. What's the second coordinate always called? Y. So what do you think we're going to label A and B? X is A. Column B's will be labeled Y. And hit Enter. What do? Go to column A, row 1, and start entering your data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do I get to the top of my data? Control 7. Go to column B. And what do? Enter your Y values. 7, 11, 16, 20, and 22. Control 7, I'm at the top of my data. I check my data, make sure it's all correct. Is that all I need to do on this page? Yes. Now what do I need to do? Add a new page. Okay, so Control Doc, I'm adding a new page. What do I need? Data and statistics. What do I label my bottom to be? X. What do I label my side to be? Y. Very good. Okay, good job, guys. Rosalind, you okay? It escaped. Okay. Now go make your graph. Okay. Now we're at this point. Now what do I need to do? What is it asking for underneath equation? What's the first thing it's asking for? Can you do that at home? No, you have to do that here. So how do I add a movable line? Menu, then what? So I hit menu, analyze, add movable line. And what do you guys need to do right now? You need to move this thing until you are able to get where you think it's best fitting the points. Once you get it where you want it to be, what are you going to write on that movable line blank? On your paper. What are you going to write on there? Your equation. My equation would be 3.74x plus 3.8. That's what I would write down on my line. Is my answer going to be the same as Miranda's? As the same as Rosalind's? As the same as Logan's? No, they're all going to be unique and different. Everybody wrote down their movable line. We all have that written down in our paper. On my paper. Okay? Now, what do I need to do next? What's underneath there? It says trend line. What ordered pairs are you going to choose to use to make your line blank? You need to pick 2 points. For me, if I was doing this, I would be looking at this, and I would for sure pick point number 2. Why would I for sure pick point number 2? Because it's going through the majority of it, right? The other point that I would choose would either be 1 for me or 0.3. It just depends, okay? So I would put in my ordered pair right there underneath the trend line. I'd put my ordered pairs there, and I'm also going to write my ordered pairs down here at the bottom where it says show all your work. Because that's where you're going to show me your work to write your trend line tonight. Do we all understand that? You're going to put your trend line right here, your points right here, and then you're going to also write them down here so that you can do your trend line tonight. So pick 2 points from here, write your movable line on here, and then pick 2 points and put them in. It's your data. Okay. Okay. Where do you get your ordered pairs from? Well, I know that 2 corresponds to, on my worksheet, the point 211. Okay? All right, do not find your equation tonight, or right now, you can do that tonight. Now, what's the next thing I need to get done before I leave here today? Regression. So how do I find a regression line? Well, you have it right there in front of you. Menu. Analyze. Regression. And then mx plus b. Now, everyone's should be exactly the same on this. Everyone should be writing down y equals 3.9x plus 3.5 right underneath the regression line on the first blanket. On the blanket sheet.
Whoa.
You should give up for the day.
We all learned that.
Good.
Everyone needs to write that on the regression line. Okay? Now, what's the next thing I need to find?
R value.
How do I find my R value? You got to add a new page. So control. First of all, before I do that, how close were your movable lines? Pretty close?
Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to add a new page. So control doc. And what do I want? A calculator page. And what do I do here now? Click menu. Statistics. Stat calculations and mx plus b. What do I want my x list to be? Drop down arrow, click on x. Y list, click on y. Where is it going to store it at? It's going to store it in F1. You click OK. What do I need off of this page? I'm sorry? I need my R value. And what is my R value? 0.9912. Everyone should have the same R value. Write that on the R value line. Now, here's the next thing that you need to know. Correlation. What type of correlation does this function have? A positive, strong positive. Why is it a strong positive? Because it's 0.99. That's pretty darn close to 1, isn't it? Now, I want you to get out last night's homework. Now it says, was your answer on worksheet 1, number 1, correct? What did you put on last night's homework? Did you say strong positive? Or did you just say positive? You said strong positive. So if you were correct, say I was correct. If you were wrong, correct it and tell me why you did not have a strong or a positive correlation. Do we understand that, yes or no?
Yes.
You put wait. Okay, well, you're gonna put that on here. Do you see that that's not a true statement now? Yes. Can you also tell according to the graph that's not a true statement now? Look how many I got mine to touch. I got my regression model to touch at least 3 out of 4 points tonight. That's a lot of points. Do we understand what I'm asking you to do? Okay, you guys have about 6 minutes left. Now you guys need to go and do the next problem on the back. So how do I get a new problem? See, this is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. That means I'm on problem 1. No. How do you do it? Nope. Dog. Insert. And what do I want to insert? A new problem. Because now my new problem is going to say 2 points. It says 2.1. That means I'm on problem 2, page 1 of it. Now it's not going to save any of the old data. Do we understand that? So you guys need to start doing problem number 2. If you need help, I will help you. Tomorrow when you guys come in, immediately grab your calculators and sit down and finish off your assignment from tonight.